bada boom, we're here. Thank you for joining us again. We're going to continue with this second half of this session, second session of episode 14, Eight of Swords, dungeon mastered by me. And yeah, it's been a pretty crazy time as Yrana, who is Eigner's goddess, has possessed Eigner and told the rest of the party that she's going to take Eigner's hot body to the Feywild. And I don't know, they can follow her, they can not follow her. They probably want to follow her to make sure that Eigner's body doesn't get harmed in any way. Whatever. It's like a mutually agreeable thing, but they're not really getting along with Yrana necessarily. When we last left our characters in the Feywild, they had just come upon this mirage that was actually a scene from Eigner's past. They saw a much younger looking Eigner wearing a tabard that had a holy symbol of a totally different god named Samas the Lawbringer. And this younger Eigner kicked the door down of this dwarven lodge and imprisoned several dwarves and led them out of their home. And one of the dwarves, this young dwarven woman, for whatever reason, looks kind of like Ellie. Something in the facial features, something in the color of the eyes. It's very subtle, but you can see it. Yeah. Oh, I forgot to say the thing that I say all the time. The name of the game is Volohin, Winds of War. The name of this episode, episode 14, is Eight of Swords. I always say that, and I always like to say that, so I said it this time. And then, yeah, we left our characters at that point, and we're going to pick back up with Yrana walking through the scene that had unfolded before you all. And with a wave of her hands, the wisps of shadow that are making up this scene in front of you, they blow away and dissipate. And Yrana just grunts in this kind of this knowing way. She knows what's going on, and you all do not have any idea what's going on. And she keeps leading you all through the very trippy landscape. You walk for another little bit, and another wind gust blows over you. And Leah can tell the emotion that's on this gust of wind is that of malevolence. This sick laughter is heard, and all of a sudden, rushing toward you, are a group of 6 dryads. They rush to you and start circling your group with a menacing glare.
Does Yrana react? Does she?
Yrana does not react. In fact, Yrana keeps walking as if they don't even exist.
Are they barring our way, or are they just like?
Oh, yeah, they kind of are. I mean, they're circling around like they're like floating in the air, and they just kind of descend on the group of you 4, and they're like.
I'm just gonna try and walk through them. I am keeping pace with her.
As you walk closer, one of the dryads reaches out with a claw and whoosh, tries to take a swipe at you.
Okay.
Oh, I rolled a crit. So I will roll more damage.
Thanks, I hate it.
Thanks, I hate it. Ellie, you take 9 slashing damage as the...
9 from a crit, though.
Yeah, I rolled like garbage.
These things ain't nothing.
Yeah.
Keep walking.
In immediate response to Ellie being hit, uh, I will just move forward mechanically and punch the thing back. That would be a 21 to hit.
All right, that'll hit.
Or we could just descend into a melee. Yeah.
Four damage into its face. Just pop. Stay away from Ellie. Pop. She is mine to protect.
Leah will whirl around and just scream, "What do you want?" to them.
Make a wisdom check, Leah.
Ooh, not 20.
All right.
Okay. Yeah, so I mean that's 28 total, in case that's important to know.
Leah takes a deep breath and steadies herself and screams into the wind, "What do you want?" And the sound of her voice is so much louder and so much more booming than she had expected that it would be. And it's almost as if this emotional shockwave booms out from her.
Over her mouth after she says that.
The laughter from the dryads stops immediately, and as they are blown back, and you see on their faces a look of absolute fear, and they look as if they're trying to decide what to do, and then they scatter away.
Okay. I'm going to try to calm down now.
No, keep doing it. It
Well,
worked.
I mean,
It worked.
well, I feel like there could be repercussions.
Nah, be fine.
You keep saying that. I don't think that word means what you think it means.
I keep walking. I'm following your
Just
honor,
gonna
like,
breathe
I'm on my
out
heels.
really long and just follow.
The word for Ellie's home country. It be reet.
What's that?
It be reet.
It be reet.
Yeah. It'll be alright.
Okay.
It'll be alright. It'll be right.
I got it.
I got it.
I didn't.
There.
I did not.
Can I say to your honor, like kind of catching up with her, like, would it not be quicker if you stopped these things getting in our way?
They don't bother me at all.
Yeah, well, they're bothering us, and we're bothering you, so it's better for you for us not to be bothered. Is what I'm trying to say.
She looks back over her shoulder and just kind of gives you a dismissive shake of her head and says, "It looks like Leah is more than capable of handling herself here in the Feywild."
Yeah, and
So you'll be fine.
He was just like,
and that thing, the thing before, that was you, right?
No. That was Eigner.
What was it?
His past. The past that he refuses to share with you because he's too embarrassed, too scared.
Why did it like manifest? Is that a thing here?
It's something that you needed to see. I had
So you showed it.
I had some small part in bringing it into a form that you all can see. But it is also something that is contained within Eigner. The Feywild brings strange things out of people.
So you made the dwarf look like me, right?
Oh no. I cannot change anything in the vision. I can only make it seen.
Then why?
I'm afraid I don't have good answers for you, Ellie. This is just merely what happened in Eigner's past.
Okay.
I'm sure you'll find out more.
Well, because you're going to show us it.
It's something you need to see. You need to know how pathetic Eigner really is.
There's nothing that you could show me that would think Eigner is anything but the brave, strong hero that he is.
She just smiles, this knowing, devious smile, and just chuckles under her breath. Oh, look. There's another one. And the mirage on the horizon rushes toward you, and another scene unfolds in shadowy wisps. In this scene, you can see Eigner on the top of a watchtower that's on the corner of a large fenced-in area. Within this fenced area, there are several ramshackle wooden buildings that stand in rows. Off to the side of those buildings, you can see a hillside that has it looks like a little mining operation is taking place. There's several tracks upon which mining carts are being wheeled down from the hillside. You can see dwarves with tools, pickaxes, doing forced labor. Eigner is standing watch in the tower. He's got a large crossbow in his hands. And from a hatch in the floor of the watchtower where Eigner is, another paladin wearing the same tabard emerges. He has a very stern face, and several decorative pins that are on his tabard indicate that he perhaps outranks Eigner. He yells at Eigner, spewing spit all over him. And again, you can't hear any specific words. You can hear the sound, but it is this echoed and muffly. I'm sorry, where's that little buzz coming from? Is anyone hearing that?
Yeah, that was just sound effects to go along with the echo and muffly quality.
Thanks, man. Thanks. I appreciate that.
Exactly. I just thought it'd help out.
So yeah, the words are so echoey and so muffled that you can't actually pick out what is being said, but you're getting the gist of what's going on. You can feel the emotion. You can see the emotion happening. It looks like Eigner's ranking officer is just yelling and berating Eigner. Yeah, just yelling at him. And Eigner stands there with a dispassionate look on his face. The officer leaves, going back down the hatch, and Eigner looks down, scanning the yard, his hand still tight on his crossbow. He looks down into the yard to find the young dwarven woman looking up at him. They lock eyes and stare at each other for a long while. Urana steps forth, brushing away the vision as it dissipates. And she says, "Come on now. Come on now."
I do not understand how observing Eigner's past will play any part in our future.
You will see. My strange metallic thing.
I do not understand what your motives are and why you need us. Can this be explained?
I'm going to put a hand on Rue's shoulder at this point, in fact, and counsel. We're already on this journey with Urana. We're part way along. As much as it might be aggravating that we can't see the end of the road, sometimes the journey is necessary. And we are here for Eigner, after all. I suggest we follow her to find out for ourselves. For even if she did tell us, it might only be lies.
I do understand partaking in this journey for Eigner. I just do not understand why we are observing his private memories. If he wanted us to know these things, would he not tell us?
He does not want you to know.
Then I do not wish to see them.
You must see them. You must know the true character of Eigner Bosch.
You are showing us visions of the deeds that Eigner did in his past, correct?
Yes,
We are not our pasts. I was not always the Rue that stands before you. In fact, judging by the quality of my physical body, I am made up of multiple different components belonging to multiple different forms. I am none of those past figures. I am Rue. I am the one made by Ellie. Eigner is not the one that you show us now. That is what he did. I understand Eigner as a true friend, as a dear friend, and that is all I need to know of him.
believe what you will. Poor, naive, metallic thing. But I tell you this. Eigner whispers to me. It is his true voice that speaks to me. It is a voice that carries the burden of years of misdeeds.
Hillowfax is just going to pat Rue on the shoulder again in support, sort of like a well said, but looks like it didn't quite have the impact. But I'm not going to say anything and just continue following out after Urana if she's carrying on walking.
I'm gonna, if it's okay. So when she says that, I say, it sounds like to me, what's really whispering to you is his feeling of guilt and inadequacy, and we all have those sorts of thoughts. We don't all have some vicious parasite whispering back and making them bigger and more present in his mind. So if anything, it's not these that are making him what you keep on making him out to be. It's you and your twisted way of talking back to him.
She nods in this way and looks for a moment that she's kind of agreeing with you. I see what you're saying. I do. But this is the nature of the gods. You may not know this, but all gods, in their own way, are preying upon the weakness of mortals. It's not so much that I'm this evil parasite that is that is taking advantage of Eigner. Every god works this way. Every god has their domain from which they draw their power.
I don't believe in a god's power. I believe in science. And clearly, you don't know enough about the world if you don't even know what Rue is. So, you're actually not a great god. So, I mean, I'm probably more god than you. How many people have you made?
At that, she just groans a little bit and says, "It sounds to me like you've been spending entirely too much time with that Finnegan asshole."
Oh, you know Finnegan?
She just groans. "I wish I could be done with him. He's the terror of the multiverse."
Oh, it makes me so happy he's been angering you.
He angers everybody.
Not everybody.
Ain't that the truth?
I like him.
Oh, I was speaking as a player.
I know.
I know.
Ellie likes him.
You all continue forth. Oh, sorry. What?
I didn't realize I was muted. I just did want to say, while this conversation has been happening, there has been a series of emotions going, like, floating around at various levels of strength, starting out with guilt, but cycling through hope, and something like kind of a warm feeling, and I'm trying to figure out what the word is to describe the tears that are pouring down Leah's face right now. But what she has been hearing are words that she needed to hear about her past and who she is now. So that's been manifesting.
Hell yeah.
Rue is finding himself strangely saddened by his own words.
Aww. Aww.
When I open my mouth, I feel what I believe to be called emotions. I do not know why.
Rue is feeling things.
I am feeling things.
Mm-hmm. So, as you continue forward, something else is on the horizon. Not a mirage like you had been seeing. But it looks like a humanoid figure is walking forth, but the distance between the two of you, it keeps warping in this way where you don't see a humanoid figure, and then you do see it, and then you don't see it. Everything is warping. But even though the visual is getting interrupted, Leah is getting this draw. She's feeling this draw toward this humanoid figure that is giving her this kind of like comforting feeling, and she feels this yearning toward it. You are muted.
Yep. Then she'll probably start walking a little bit faster, as if she's just being drawn toward it, regardless of caution.
There is more warping, and now when you don't see it and then you see it again, it's closer. And then you don't see it and then you see it again, and it's even closer. And then, before you know it, standing right in front of you is the form of Eridu Samaria. Dun dun dun!
Cool.
We all see this?
Everyone sees Eridu right in front of you.
Are you real?
I was going to ask you the same thing.
Are you... She's gonna reach out and put a hand on his shoulder. And
With that, he will reach out and grab her in an embrace and hold her tight. You are truly here. More than just my visions.
And bursting into tears. And so much emotion. Yeah, she can't even say words. She's just crying.
Can I turn to Urana and just kind of like spit towards her, like not literally. You better not have done this. This better not be you.
I had nothing to do with this. I would rather not have to deal with the pesky Samaria, but he came to us.
With that, Eridu will release Leah and look at Eigner. And then a stern look will come over his face. You do not belong here, and you do not belong in that form. Why have you taken my friend?
Because Eigner would not follow my orders.
And for good reason. He was probably on to the scheme that you held him under. I've seen more in the Feywild than I wished to ever know. And I know what kind of form you are. You are a parasite.
Big words from someone with so little power.
This is true. I cannot contend with you here. Nor do I wish to. What do you want? Let us figure this out and be on our way.
I want to keep walking without any distractions from a certain pesky elf.
No.
You yourself said that you cannot contend with me.
Yes.
And believe it or not, you may even benefit from what I'm trying to do.
Well, we could do that. Or we could sit here a little longer and see what happens.
Say your piece. I know it's been a while since you've seen your sister.
Leah and I have plenty of time together. The thing that I'm concerned about is the friend of mine you are holding.
You will have Eigner back when I am done. And I am not... I do not have any interest in harming Eigner. I've said that before, I'll say it again. He is worth to me more alive than dead.
And your domain is lies. I need more than your word. Give me something that I can hold on to. Something that I can use to keep you honest.
Man, that's a good one. What can she do? What can she do? She will... she will wave her hand, and the wispy shadows will come out of her hand, and she'll conjure another vision. This, it's more of just like a little mirage about this size that she's holding in the palm of her hand, and Eridu can see the form of Tix held in this one position with his hands around the planar bomb that Eridu had dropped in his lap, and he's just barely containing its power. He's gritting his teeth, and Uranus says, "Look, would you like me to do something about this or not?"
Very well. You can do something about that, and I will let you be on your way. But I'm coming with you.
It could be dangerous for you, Eridu, but it's your funeral.
I will say nothing. I will stay out of your way. I am simply accompanying you to ensure that my sister and my friends are safe.
As you wish.
Is that the thing that you took from Aygrien?
Yes. I have put myself in a very dangerous position by imprisoning a Phalord to hold its power.
And we're returning to it?
Perhaps. I do not know Urana's plan, but when Tix is free, and he will be free, he will find a way to absorb or get rid of this bomb. When he is, I will be his first and only goal until he finds me and takes his revenge.
Then shouldn't you leave?
I can't. I have been wandering the Feywild for as long as I've been here, trying to find a way out. But every time I get close, something steps in the way. I imagine with what little power Tix has left, he is putting every obstacle possible to keep me here.
Then the only way out is through, I guess. Unless Urana can send you away now.
I would rather not put myself in debt to a traitor like this.
I understand. I will do everything I can to protect you.
And how you?
Oh yeah, we get our bonus back now too.
Yeah. And he's just smiling. A happy Eridu to be back with his sister. And his friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's really happy right now. There's just a lot of, I don't know what happiness looks like in the Feywild, but there's a lot of it right now.
A wind blows across you, and it just goes squee. Ah, squee. Yeah. I'll make a little. I'll step into Eridu's character for just a moment and have him walk over to Rue, and gently place a hand on Rue's face and caress the metal.
I know you.
And I know you.
You speak to me when I dream. Your voice is pleasant. You have comforted me.
And you have delighted me.
Are you a dear friend?
I hope so. I dearly hope so. And Eridu laughs his melodious laugh.
I don't have a melodious laugh for you.
Can I hear this? 'Cause
Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah.
what? It's gonna come over and like tilt its head slightly. What? You hear voices? You hear Eridu in your sleep?
Hold on just a second. Yes, I did not understand for a long time, but this one, he would come to me when I would sleep and speak with me. I believe there was something connecting us. Ah, and Rue will take off his cloak and say, I believe this belongs to you.
My dear Rue, please keep it. It looks better on you, anyhow.
And Eridu, you saw Rue? How?
He told me his name.
Yes, that is how you greet someone new. You introduce yourself. It is only polite.
I did hear his voice coming from Rue last night.
How possible? That's not in your programming.
Eridu looks over to Leah with this great interest and says, "Oh, now that is unexpected."
You spoke. I heard your voice when I was talking with Senna.
I am glad that a little piece of me can still be on the material plane.
Well, I hope the rest of you will be on the material plane soon.
Me too, Leah. Me too. And Eridu looks into the distance with a worried look.
All right, so we're like equal parts joy and worry over here, but
Seems so. Yeah. Like, as a player, I am very aware of the careful wording there, and sort of anxious about a potential heartbreak down the road. However, let's not poke that wound too much.
nah.
Well, I've got work to do when we get back, cause that's weird. But let's keep going.
As we carry on, Hillowfax is going to try to relate to Ellie to make her feel better, and he's likely going to fail dismally, talking about how one time he practiced with conjuration spells and tried to summon a boar, but instead he summoned a dire boar, and that was just, hilarious unintended consequences.
Blink at him. Okay.
Because these are the same thing.
Yep, totally.
Are you comparing my child to a boar? How dare you?
Well,
Wait, do you call Rue your child out loud?
yes.
No, I don't really
Aw.
do that.
He was going to be so very happy.
Well, now I feel like I should say it. Maybe I do say it.
Because he would just be like,
Ellie said it. I decided.
Yeah, I said it.
She said it.
I like it. Rue also likes it.
Okay, so does anyone want to talk to Eridu about anything else in particular at the moment? I mean, he is going to be coming with you guys, but
I mean,
No, I'm bored there, I do now.
as they're walking, Leah will tell him what's happened since he vanished. There will be a series of emotions, especially as she mentions the part where she failed to rescue Hillowfax and also succeeded in temporarily killing Aygrien, and how horrifying that was. Definitely the primary emotion is guilt as she goes through that telling. But then she will go ahead and keep talking about what happens after that, unless he has interjections that he wants to make.
Well, I don't have interjections for him.
Mm-hmm.
So unless Kyle has got something in the works of what's happened with Eridu since I've played him, I'm good with him just patiently listening.
for sure. I think he may say one thing in response to Aygrien, and when you say like you temporarily killed Aygrien or something, Eridu just says, I know he won't be so easily rid of.
Right. Yeah, and then she'll go on to tell him about Senna showing up and how Leah now has a new ability that she never had before that might actually be able to do some good in the world.
Oh, yeah.
And then the mood goes back to being very happy.
Excellent. And he will reinforce that happiness and tell you how proud he is that you are becoming more comfortable with your powers and more able to handle and mitigate the bad things that may come out of using your powers. Yeah.
All right.
All right. And I think we'll be charging forth. Urana leading the way. And there's another mirage on the horizon. There's more to this story. You're not getting away from it. You're not getting away from it. The mirage creeps ever closer, and the wispy shadows form into yet another scene. Where are my notes here? You see Eigner sneaking along the outside of the fence with something bundled in a cloth in his hands. It's dark outside. Looks like it's the dead of night. In the moonlight, you can see that he has the scruff of a beard forming on his face. No longer totally clean shaven. He reaches the corner of the fence and messes with it for a bit, eventually pulling away the chain and slipping through the opening. He walks past the field of mining carts and pickaxes and shovels and meets the young dwarven woman that he's had his eye on. He takes a loaf of bread out of the bundled cloth, and they sit together on a workbench, sharing a meal and looking up at the moon. Eigner is pantomiming in a very goofy way. Looks like he's trying to tell a joke or three. And the dwarven woman has a slight smile on her face as she nibbles little bits of bread. Urana pushes away the scene and just chuckles in this very mean kind of way. Oh, Eigner thinks he's such a ladies' man. It really is pathetic.
She's not gonna get a rise out of me. I'm not doing it. I know what she's trying to do. I should say quite like curtly. I don't see the need to be showing us these sorts of visions at all, really. What this shows us nothing about Eigner's personality.
It may not show us anything of the Eigner we know, but people are formed from a contiguous relationship with their past. I would not be so quick to dismiss what we're being shown by Urana. It's showing us some insights here.
But we don't need to know like who he's been spending evenings with. That's not important. Eigner's private business is his business.
Under ideal circumstances, yes, that would be the case, but surely you wouldn't wish to begin associating with, say, Garth or a similar character, and you wouldn't want to because you're aware of their activities. You know of their past and how it's hurt other people. There are different viewpoints to each of our experiences.
What if they were reformed and they did something good? Doing something bad in our past doesn't make us bad forever. What if Garth then saved a whole town and you only met him after he saved the town and he didn't want to tell you all the stuff in his past because now he wants to be known as a nice guy? You should respect his decision and his privacy, right? And now we're just being shown all of Eigner's like deepest, darkest things that he doesn't want us to know about, and now we're gonna have to like either pretend we don't know it or tell him that we've seen it, and then he'll be really upset. He might not want us to see this. What, like? It's not for us to judge Eigner on his past stuff when he's not even the one telling us it. She is like a god of lies. We don't even know that this stuff is true. Just... God.
That may be, but taking the that we only have our senses to go on. Granted, we are in a realm of reality that suggests that our senses are not going to be the best judges of what is and isn't. Regardless, we do only have our flawed senses to go by, and our senses are telling us that Eigner has performed some questionable acts in his past.
But she is choosing what she shows us. So for all we know, he could have led those dwarves out of that house, like chained up, and then there could be like some monster that can't see them when they're in chains. Like we don't know the whole story. She's showing us like tiny little bits. We're getting them out of context. We don't know what's going on. Maybe he was doing it as a disguise. We've pretended to go around as like other things, and going in as prisoners and stuff isn't out of the question. Maybe he was doing that. We don't know. We only know what she's showing us, and I just think that we should start ignoring them.
Leah puts a hand on Ellie's shoulder while she's been going on this rant, nodding along and giving support against Hillowfax, but also because she actually thinks that what Ellie's saying is really important. And then she will actually look at Hillowfax and say, regardless, weren't you saying not too long ago that the intention is every bit as important as the actions that result from it? We don't know his intentions.
That is true. We don't know his intentions. But his past actions can help us to divine what his intentions might be now. We have experienced, from our perspective, an altruistic Eigner, someone who has benefited and forwarded our goals as they currently are. But for us to know that Eigner will further our goals as our goals shift and change, knowing what his purpose was prior to meeting us and acting with us, would help us form these opinions. We would have a better understanding of whether or not to continue our association with him if things were to change. Would that not also be desirous?
I hate to say it, but your filthy Azamar friend is correct. You cannot completely shed your past. It is
No one asked
it is the
you.
core of you.
We know that you're trying to turn us against Eigner, so you can just stop talking. You're not part of this conversation.
You know
Yeah,
I'm right.
intentions are still important.
She
You're
just
not right.
she just whispers, "You know I'm right."
I'm gonna step up into her face now and say, "You're picking and choosing things to wind me up. So, like, I'm not gonna believe anything that you say. So what's the point?"
She merely blows you a kiss.
Ugh. Spit back in her face.
She wipes the spit off and then puts it in her mouth.
Oh.
The gross lady.
I'm gonna stare her down. Like, stare her down. Inside, Ellie's like, oh.
There are some things Ellie is gonna have a hard time unseeing when it's back to being
The jerky thing and this thing and the blowing a... Oh, yeah.
She's like, I just keep seeing these things when I look at you, Eigner, and I just can't do it anymore. Sorry.
Isn't it great? Isn't it great? I love it. I love it.
I think that would just make Urana all the happier.
Oh, she's
To know
stoked.
that- Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Leah will turn to both Ellie and Hillowfax and say, I don't know if we have a choice whether we see this or not, but we owe it to Eigner to let him tell his own side of it once he's out of this. If we want to know more about his character, then he should be the one to be able to tell us. He should be allowed whatever absolution he needs. And Leah will look specifically at Hillowfax and say, and those of us who hear it should be willing to deliver that.
Yes. Well, I'd certainly be willing to hear him out.
Well, you guys can interrogate him all you want. He doesn't. I don't think we need to ask him about this. It's not what friends do.
All this time, Eridu has been particularly quiet. And that's all I'm going to say, because he said that he would.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Ellie made no such promise.
I was expecting Rue to say, like, once she said friends, to say, "Dear friends, dear friends,
We've gathered here
we're gathered here to be
to be
dear friends."
Yeah, to dearest friends, and dear friends don't interrogate each other.
Dear friends do not interrogate each other.
Thank you.
Is true. So, anything else that you gotta talk about at the moment?
I'd just tell her to keep walking.
You continue on. You continue on. The landscape continues to change all around you. There is something that peeks up over the horizon that looks like, from this distance, a massive tree. You are walking toward it, and I mentioned before at the very beginning when you guys went into the Feywild that, like, the tree that you were in front of was the only thing that wasn't changing in the entire landscape. Everything else was just like wisping around. And there's a similar thing going on with this tree on the horizon. You can see that it is enormous if you can see it from this distance. And you can see that it is staying solid in the landscape, while everything else around it is bubbling and flowing and changing willy-nilly. You seem to be on a course directly toward it. Out of nowhere, another gust of wind sweeps over you, and the emotion carried on this gust of wind is so strong that people who are not Leah can even feel it. And it is the emotion of a smugness. Trying to think of another good word, but it's definitely smug is one of the words. And the other is this holier than thou kind of feeling, and also one of pure hatred. And there's a laugh on the wind. It is the laugh of Aygrien. You do not see anything that suggests that Aygrien is nearby, but you merely hear his laugh. And that is enough to strike at Leah's very core. She begins to feel terrified, scared, alone. She begins to retreat into the scared little girl that she used to be.
I would say she takes a step back and maybe even sinks to the ground, covering her head with her hands.
Eridu crouches down, puts a hand on her shoulder, and says, "He wouldn't dare come here. It's too much of a risk for him, and even if he did, I'm here with you."
You're right. I know you're right, but I can't make it stop.
You are not the little girl that he used to abuse any longer. You have grown into a strong, confident, and capable woman. You said it yourself only minutes to hours ago, that you have temporarily defeated him. You did it once, you can do it again.
I see no path before me where I don't either become a monster by what I do to him or continue to live in fear for the rest of my life or the rest of his life. It's so hard to see a path.
You know the promise we made to each other. You won't become a monster.
As long as you stay alive.
I will do everything I can to stay alive. For you.
And then she'll stand up and just basically hold on to Eridu and try to keep moving forward.
Alright.
All right. um. I just had a thought because I realized that I've been like hitting like all the other characters except for Hillowfax.
Hmm.
Hillowfax. What to do with you? What to do?
I mean, you could.
You've been mean to everyone but Hillowfax? Is that what you're saying?
Kinda, yeah.
So, like, I mean, Hillowfax is someone who just, he's full of like folksy wisdom and occasionally says the wrong thing. He doesn't have anything that you could possibly take advantage of. Like, he doesn't idolize Okra away. He doesn't really feel the need to save people and get stuck in knots if he's forced to make a choice. He's also not afraid of spiders.
Not at
So,
all.
like,
There's nothing that she can do to bother him whatsoever.
nothing. No, absolutely nothing.
Oh.
So yeah, an Okrim spider that's on fire, and the only way to put him out is a bucket of sand made out of Eridu.
Oh my goodness. Oh wow.
Can I say one thing?
Yeah.
I just remembered something that Leah was going to say before they started moving on again and before she got hit by all those feelings and everything. She was going to, aside after people had started walking, say to Hillowfax, I forgive you for the choice that you made. Because that it was timely and she realized that it needed to happen. So, I'm sorry I didn't do it at the time. I meant to.
Thank you. Just to be clear, this is on deciding to kill Eridu.
That is what she is referencing. He can
Okay.
interpret it however he wants.
Wait, dude, that's all out because Eridu doesn't know about that.
No.
Okay.
Well,
That's correct.
she won't be spelling it out in those terms. She'll just say
Yes.
those
yes.
words. I respect the decision that you made,
Or I forgive.
or I forgive you. Yeah.
Yeah, because like when my internet crapped out, I don't know if I like took the last roast potato at the dinner table or something, and like forgive me for that. I don't know.
Yeah. You never know the mistakes you make while you're away.
No, she is specifically referencing how Hillowfax was telling her all about this choice that he made to kill her brother, and then somehow expecting her to like
Agree
Go
with it?
along.
Yeah.
Yeah.
in that dream, but she did
Um,
make a whole speech about offering up absolution to people, and so she felt like she needed to say that to him.
He's going to look very terrified at the idea of confirmation that the dream thing actually happened again. Because like it's had the occasional like nudge and reference, but for the most part, he's been trying to convince himself that nah, it doesn't really work like that, does it? So poop. Yeah, he's just going to slowly nod as you give him that sort of out and look slowly away.
All right.
Look at the interesting flora of the Feywild.
To fast forward the little bit, because that conversation was happening before, after the whole thing with Aygrien's laugh being heard and Leah getting all scared, and then Eridu trying to pump her up and all that, you keep walking a little bit more. There's another gust of wind that, for Hillowfax, carries this emotion that he cannot place he cannot describe what this emotion is, but it hits him very deep inside, and there's a sound on the wind, that of an ocarina playing softly.
I suggest we quicken the pace. Best to not dwell too long in planes of otherworldly existence. Who knows? We could get corrupted or swept up. Is it far to go?
We are almost there.
Good. Mm-hmm. In fact, Hellas is going to stride at a pace to just overtake Urana for a moment, and then realize that he doesn't know where he's going, so he's going to slow down a bit.
Urana notes your discomfort and gives Hillowfax a grin, almost a wink. Hillowfax, I am always here for you. You can feel free to whisper to me.
Don't do it.
I see you, Urana. You torment people. And you torment them using devices not of your own. You have taken Eigner's body, and you have brought us here to this place forsaken by all but the most depraved of gods. You have poked, prodded, and opened up wounds of all present. And whether by design or not, you have taunted Leah with her brother, and her brother with his sister. You bring naught but ruin. But I assure you, by virtue of my association with those that have known Aygrien, I am stronger for it. I may be vulnerable to the many ills and plagues of mortal existence, and that will include sadness, melancholy, bouts of depression. However, it is because of these fine people that I will be able to work my way out of it. So no matter what eddy or vortex you are drawing us near, no matter what you are pulling us towards, I may be defeated temporarily. I will be back, and I will be most upset with you.
Urana bares Eigner's teeth in a wicked grin and just says in a low voice, "Have it your way, Hillowfax. Just remember, When you are at your lowest point, when you are at your weakest, I will be there in the darkness. And she walks on forward, letting Hillowfax chill on those words.
Hillowfax is going to be frozen on the spot and just sort of stare into the middle distance for a little while. In fact, I think I'm going to get to the point where I need to carry on to follow the group without getting lost. But yes, he's going to be there for a little while.
Excellent. Now that I've successfully tormented every member of the party...
You're just copying Carrie at this point.
I mean, I wasn't gonna say anything, but, you know.
It's like,
Is that
it's
the
like
thing
different.
we need to be doing now? Just torturing each other?
Yeah.
Yes, you can do it the worst, right?
One-upmanship. Uh-huh.
That's what being a DM is all about. It's all about torturing people. You know how it is. You know how
I mean,
it
I
is.
feel like Drew did a fair job of torturing Leah during the last session. So,
Oh, sure.
you know.
Sure.
Rue? No.
It was a combination of Drew and Asa helping. So
Oh, Rue. Oh,
Drew, not Rue.
not Rue. I was like, Rue didn't do anything. Rue's holding a bird and being cute.
So, as you continue on forward, the tree in the distance that I mentioned before, it's growing larger and larger in your field of view. You're starting to make out its branches going every which way. They have this kind of drooping quality to them. And from this distance now, you can see that the leaves are a sickly blood red. Also on the horizon, there's another mirage that creeps ever closer
And close.
and closer. And you come upon yet another scene from Eigner's past. Eigner is standing in a large circle, surrounded by the rest of his company. He's wielding his crossbow again, as are the rest of the paladins. In the center of the circle is a blackened patch of scorched earth. Close to Eigner, there is a break in the circle of paladins, through which a large number of captive dwarves are being herded like they are cattle. Their heads are low in a look of despair, and they seem to be mumbling prayers. They are shoved into the center of the circle, and one of the company starts to wave his hands and chant words in a loud voice. The young dwarven woman from the center of the circle stares at Eigner, tears flowing down her cheeks. Eigner looks back with a blank face, devoid of any emotion. The cleric finishes the casting, and a column of flame descends from the heavens, engulfing the dwarves. All you hear are screams.
The fuck, dude?
So, the dwarf lady, she's still looking like Ellie. Every time.
Yep.
I mean, I feel like that's what, like, watching myself die. It's just a little bit weird. I think Ellie is just gonna, like, turn her head. Like, at this point, she's refusing to see what Eigner doesn't want her to see.
Urana casts away the scene and regards you all with a cold, dead look in her eyes and says, "Now you know. Now you know the true Eigner. The Eigner that lives cowardly, huddled behind his shell that he's built for himself. This is who he truly is."
I have kept quiet long enough, as you have spent, as you have built these stories around my friend. I can't do it anymore. I don't care what you do with ticks. This is not Eigner. These are his regrets. These are his sorrows. These are his secret memories of the things that he did long ago, under a cause that he believed in, but he has since come to find that he was wrong. He regrets these moments and feels that he can't share them with anyone. I've known that because I've known Agner longer than anyone else here. I've known Agner longer than you. And I never needed to see his sorrows, to know that he lives with them every single day. And that the man he is because with every breath he tries to undo the terrible things that he has already done. So why? What is it you're trying to show us? A broken man and his broken heart?
I am trying to show you the truth. What you do with that truth is up to you.
And is it your place to even do that?
It is my place to do what I wish. I am the deity here, not you.
No. You are not the deity here. You have forsaken this place when you made your choice. The Feywild whispers and it has told me things. So you want to keep on parading through this place like you have power? Go for it. But leave my friends out of it, and leave Agner's body. You sure enough can walk these fields in your own. Or are you too afraid? Are you too afraid to take a form here? Are you too afraid of the atrocities you've committed, and the lies you've told, and the forces that you have turned against? Maybe they haven't forgotten, because their memories are just as long as yours.
I seem to have touched a nerve.
You...
Leo will step forward and put a hand on Eridu's shoulder and look at Urana/Eigner and say, "Get out of him. Leave him alone. You've done enough."
There is but one thing left to do. Come now. We're almost there.
Spin your last lie and then be gone.
And she goes on. She walks on. Still in Eigner's hot body. Maybe she just enjoys having a hunky male body for once. Is
Put
that
a little extra something in his walk.
Oh yeah, no, there's definitely the butt is popping a little bit, you know. The butt is definitely shaking, you know.
She's getting everything she wants out of this situation for sure.
Oh yeah. Maybe she just took over Eigner's body because it's nice to have a human body for once. I don't know, like maybe it's I don't know. Who knows? Anyways, you go forth. And I think the pacing is working out just fine. The tree looms ever larger. And at this point in the journey, something strange happens where the land starts to go past you faster and faster. But it's not like you guys are running or whatever. It's almost like the ground beneath you is doing this conveyor belt thing in the opposite direction that you're walking. So it's like, I don't know, it's almost like when you're at the airport and you stand on one of those standing conveyor belt things. Or no, it's going in the same direction that you're going. So as you're walking, it's like you're going even faster than you are going. And all of a sudden, you come upon the tree. It is enormous. It looks almost exactly like the tree that you were standing in front of that teleported you here to the Feywild. Same design, same kind of ropey looking veins of bark and roots, and but it's huge. It's got to be at least like 80 to 100 feet high. It's got these big fruits on the ends of the branches that look disgusting. Like they look disgusting. They look like, bits of like organs or something. They've got this similar kind of veiny appearance to them, you know? Yeah. It just looks gross. And in front of this tree is none other than Tix. He is exactly as Urana showed you in the little mirage that she held in her hand. Tix is holding the planar bomb between his hands, barely containing its power. It looks like it was already in the process of starting to explode, and his hands around it are just keeping this force field and containing the explosion. And he regards you all with this wild look in his eyes, and especially Urana, and just says, "You. What are you doing here?" And then his eyes go over to Eridu, and then he
Leah steps in
grits
front of
his
her
teeth.
very quickly.
He grits his teeth and says, "And you." He lets out an animalistic growl. Urana this whole time has just kept on walking forward. With a grand gesture, Urana takes her hand forward and does this pulling motion. And she just rips the bomb inside the force field right out of Tix's grasp. And she puts her own hands around the bomb and contains the explosion and starts to push inward on it. And she's actually, where Tix was just barely able to keep it from exploding outward, Urana is able to start to collapse it in on itself. And as soon as Tix is free from having to grasp the bomb, he kind of falls backward as if he's taken aback. He looks very weakened at the moment, but then with a growl, he stands up and says, "I will kill you all where you stand."
He did it.
He did.
And
It was me.
we will end the session on that note with the knowledge that you guys are probably going to roll some initiative.
We gonna die.
You're gonna die, and you're gonna
die.
roll some initiative. So yeah, some crazy cliffhangers, a very disturbing psychological dive into Eigner's brain. I hope you all enjoyed it, because these guys sure didn't.
Yeah.
Nope.
enjoyed that.
You're terrible. I will say you didn't get under Rue's sleeve, Rue's skin. He just didn't get most of what Urana was saying.
Yeah, I mean, I still pissed Rue off plenty, though.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, it's true.
That's true. I mean, legitimately, he got angry because she refused to actually explain to him anything. Whereas he also got angry because Leah was angry.
Definitely. All right, so with that, we will be off, but thank you so much for joining us. Please join us next week if you want to see the characters battle a crazy-ass Fey Lord. If you want to tune in, that's totally cool.
Yeah, if you just want to see that real quick, just
Yeah.
pop on by.
Pop on by. All
Uh,
right. Catch y'all later.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.